My name's Amy Barnbrook. I'm the youngest daughter of Pam and Barney Barnbrook. I was born without arms and legs, although no one really knows why. It wasn't anyone's fault or anything.
I should have been aware then, but I just didn't think. You don't have babies without hands inside you. I never heard of it before.
But we'll take one of these bees and take her up to a test site and train her how to do a particular experiment.
So the experiment's up here.
The selected bee is coaxed to the experiment site using a 25% sugar solution.
So what this experiment is doing here is we're training an individual bee to learn to recognise the difference between a given target face, which we see here, and a distractor face, which is perceptually very, very, very similar. And so the bee is taken a short distance away, and then we can randomise the positions and see if the bee can learn to go back. And she's aborted the distractor there and gone back to the correct target face.
She's not doing bad. They're very similar faces.
Because of the huge interest, it was decided to dissect the squid in public at the museum and live on the internet.
So, to just give you your bearings quickly, this is the body of the squid. It's called the mantle. This is the head and eyes, so there's an eye on either side. And these are the 8 arms. So they have 8 arms in a ring like an octopus, and then they have 2 really long feeding tentacles.
With the feeding tentacles fully extended, the giant squid would have been around 12 metres long and weighed more than 260 kilograms.
So if a standard 170 square metre house design was going to be framed in steel, the Accurate module tells us that there'd be about 34 tonnes of embodied CO2 emissions. But by clicking a few buttons, Accurate can tell us instantly that the same design framed in timber has only 30 tonnes of embodied CO2 emissions.
It's estimated that 65% of kids have had some kind of imaginary friend by the age of 7 or 8. Although most of the time it's much younger than that. In fact, the friends often get ditched when they get to preschool or school. But with the phenomenon so widespread, researchers are asking just what kids get out of having an imaginary friend.
Most of the time, imaginary friends are portrayed in a slightly negative light in the popular media. They seem to be portrayed as being indicative of some kind of internal malaise or some kind of indication that a child or even an adult is lonely or suffers from some kind of mental illness. In the course of doing these studies, we tried to recruit kids who have imaginary friends, and some of the responses we get back suggested that the parents were quite worried about them.
But this year, some survive to keep the species going. The tiny frogs emerge in autumn. Soon they'll be facing the snows of winter. If they make it through to spring, the males will have to live for another year before they're old enough to mate. The females will have to wait even longer, until after their 3rd winter. A long time by frog standards. They're big enough now to survive all but the fiercest storms or harshest droughts. But there are other hazards.